Hi everyone, my name is Mateusz. I'm one of the angular.love contributors, and today I am pleased to guest Luca Del Puppo. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, it's
from
perfect.
Italy, yeah?
Yeah.
So Luca is the Google developer expert in Angular. He's our guest today. He will be attending our angular.love camp, one of the second series, yeah, because it's angular.love camp is the series of 3 meetups. Today we have like the second meetup. And having you there today, we would like to also interview you, ask you about the Angular 18, what are your thoughts, what are your most awaited features, and so on. So from my perspective, one of the most awaited and hot feature which will be released in the version 18 is a Zoneless hybrid change detection. And what are your thoughts about it, and whether you expect to see some big improvements in terms of the application performance and developer experience? How you just feel about that?
Yeah, but I'm waiting for it for a long time. So removing zone, it's one of the biggest changes for the Angular team at the end. I think it's one of the idea from one of the first release of Angular at the end, and we achieve it just now. But it's for me it's a good achievement at the end, because if you look in the other community, in the other framework, you don't have to fight with something that is outside of the framework at the end. And maybe if you are an Angular developer, you already know all the problem that zone bring in your project at the end. And in fact, there is the first implementation to go around of zone was RxJS, for instance. Now finally we have the signal, and maybe in the future we can ship Angular code without zone under the hood and be more reactive also with our love framework at the end.
Yeah, so as you said, it went like pretty fast since introduction the signals to be nearly fully zoneless, yes?
Exactly.
When like the entire community has been complaining about the zone for a very long time, yeah?
Yeah, but I think the journey to remove zone, it has been longer, but we have to wait for a rewriting of the compiler to have Ivy at the end. And now after the release of Ivy, I saw a lot of improvement in the framework at the end. With Ivy under the hood, the framework start to be first of all more community driven, because they are able to release many stuff, and these stuff are requested by the community at the end, and they are more they are faster in their release at the end.
Yes, so they're delivering faster, and as you said, like Ivy was releasing the version 9, but probably, but we didn't saw some definitely improvements since very beginning, but we already knew that it holds like a lot of potential to future improvements, and right now after the time at version 16, 17, 18, we finally see the results of something what started some time ago. So we already mentioned the signals, so what also community, there's like a discussion the hot discussion in the community regarding the functional components and whether that will be possible thanks to the signals, whether we can implement it in Angular, and what are your thoughts about potential of this functional components in Angular? Would you like it, or you are just more like the class-based guy?
Okay, basically I don't have a strong opinion in this moment. I work also with React, so I know both the strategy at the end. I think if you love the template, that is what we have in Angular. The class component is the best solution in this moment, because you can compile, because at the end the difference between Angular and React is that Angular is compiled and React no, it's a runtime library.
Probably introducing the compiler, yeah?
Yeah, now they are introducing something, but we will see what happens, because also the other side of the framework is a sort of black box sometimes. So we will see, but at the end, in Angular, I prefer to work with class component in reality. In this moment, you have all the tool to build your application without any problem with class at the end. Also, sometimes there are people that compare React and Angular just for the velocity of the rendering. But I think in the 90% of the application, if the user need to wait 30 milliseconds more, it's not a problem. Because it's more important, in my opinion, have the compatibility released by the Angular team on each version. So they leave you the time to I release this, you can introduce this stuff in your application with this version, and in the next version I remove it. You have 6 months to do your refactor. It's not a big bang, and I continue to maintain this part for other 6 months, but then you have to move your code.
So from my perspective, I'm also the class-based guy, and that's why I love Angular, due to this separation of having something in the class, having something in the template, and in the styles, everything separate and well organized. That's what provide me comfort to work. Maybe on other frameworks it's similar comfort, but I don't have experience. So it's tough to me to say, okay, you don't have this one, we have this one. I can say why I like this, what I am using right now. So, and then I appreciate that it looks like it looks, and maybe wouldn't like to move to the functional right now, but it will be also very interesting, and I will probably also be able to learn something new. So in terms of the zoneless, we mostly have been always talking about the performance, and also right now in the newest version, in terms of the performance, we heard that Angular team has connected with the Wiz team, which might be not so famous. Even for me, I don't know whether you heard about the Wiz before.
No,
they announced it. So it's some kind of the team and tool internally within the Google, which is pretty performant and used on the YouTube mobile application and so on. So they are somehow merging the know-how probably, and also they start using Angular signals as a separate package in scope of the Wiz. What are your thoughts? Do you expect something specific for this merge, or you are just looking forward and just...
In this moment, I'm looking forward, because I don't have any idea on what they can achieve with this merge in reality. I suppose they have an idea under the hood, and we will see, but sometimes it's cool also to see that they have something internal, and they have... Google have the knowledge inside to have engineering with a lot of skills. And maybe if they want to merge something or do something else, maybe they have a sort of engineer that see in the future, and maybe can see something that me and you probably can see right now in this.
There are just rumors that maybe Wiz will be open source. Maybe they work together on the improvement on server-side rendering, like the partial hydration and so on, because for sure Wiz have some more knowledge there, or just better knowledge.
Maybe, as you already mentioned, it's time to think also about server-side rendering or something like this, because it's the only missing thing in Angular in this moment.
When you have been arguing with some React developer on Twitter, they always could say, okay, we have better server-side rendering in Next.js, and you couldn't say anything.
I have also other opinion about Next.js sometimes, but in reality, in this moment, the only way is to use analog.js if you want. But we saw the fair loading in the 70 version, and maybe it's the first step to the release of something about server-side rendering for the framework at the end.
So also we had some improvement in terms of the building pipeline, like the esbuild+vite have been introduced. Have you been using it? What are your thoughts or experience?
Okay. About Vite, in reality, I love it because when I work with React, basically I use it under the hood. It has a small pain point for me, and it's on development side, because to improve the velocity, they stop to check your TypeScript code. So what happened? It's that basically they remove all the TypeScript signature from your file and change it in a JavaScript file. This is fantastic for the development perspective if you are working with your application, but at the end maybe what happened is that you are broken something in another part of the application and you need to run the TypeScript compiler to see the error at the end. And maybe you already finished all the stuff and you need to recompile to see the result in the in your terminal at the end. This is the only problem, but I love it because Webpack start to be heavy in reality. There are a lot of other tools that they try to bring its market, like RSpec and all the Rust environment. So yeah, fortunately now we have something based on esbuild and Vite, and improve also the developer. This improves the developer experience at the end because you don't have to waste time for the rebuild.
And also during this like short time, we don't have enough time to express how much have changed in the Angular in the recent versions, but we also had like a webinar regarding the updating the Angular and how important it is to stay up to date right now. And what are your thoughts, how important it is and how to stay up to date right now, especially with your project and so on? Because I have like an opinion that if you don't stay updated, it might be even harder for you to attract the new developers, because right now we have, like two approaches, since Signal and before Signal, or since Zoneless and before Zoneless. And if you will be in Zone, you might be less attractive to, to other developers and so on. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
I understood your point. The question for me, it's not just about Angular, but all the front-end framework at the end. You must be up to date in all the framework that you want to choose. It's sometimes it's difficult to express this to the business, okay? But with some small step, you can achieve it. What we can do basically in my team is use Dependabot, and in the minor release or the patch, we have a CI that maybe Dependabot try to update the library, and if the CI pass and is green, merge, it's an auto merge in the code base. So you don't have also to spend time to upgrade your version to minor or patch. So this is fantastic. If you have a major update, you have to schedule it because yes, it's normal that if you have a major update, you have to put some time in the upgrade. This is what that can happen every 6 months in Angular. So can bring if you do this every 6 months, it could be 1 week, okay, if you have a lot of problem. Because the other problem is not only Angular, but maybe also the other library that you have that depend on Angular, for instance. But if you spend, I don't know, 1 week is too much, but 3 days, okay, to upgrade to the major version, you have all the code base up to date, you can use the latest feature, and at the end, we are developer and we love to work in the latest version of all the framework, and this help your teammates to rest in your team or to bring other new developer at the end, because the market need a lot of engineering in this moment, and if you lose the possibility to upgrade in the latest version, you probably are losing also your talent in your team, or also you are losing talent outside.
Yeah, you're not able to bring the talents. But also for us as a developers right now to convince the business, it's easier because we can easily show that Angular is delivering some value in terms of, for example, performance. Yeah, so if you have some e-commerce site or something, and you will see how your LCP will arise when we start using the new optimized image directive. Yeah, or if we bring the partial hydration or just new the client hydration without destroying the view, like we had the hydration with destroy of the view so far. Right now it's like completely new without the destroying, so it's much easier maybe to even try to convince someone, because you have something to show that can convince that okay, it's worth to invest this 1 week per 6 months. Let's say 1 week is pretty long, would say. Depends on the project, but even if we say it's 1 week, it's not so much in terms of the half of the year. So I spoke with a guy on last week that he told me he spent 1 month to upgrade from Angular 12 to Angular 17. So as you can imagine, it's a long time where these guys and other 2 guys of the team hasn't shipped nothing for the business, but just for the developer. Even if they have been shipping in the meantime and he was upgrading, it was even harder for him to just cherry pick these changes, move them again to some new things, new syntax, and so on and so on. So at some point they definitely make the code freeze, but I can imagine how tough it was. So so it's better to stay updated, guys, and just follow up with each version. Okay, so as Angular is getting better, how you will convince right now someone that it's worth to invest your time, I don't know, start new project in Angular or just learn Angular? What kind of arguments you will use?
Okay, by the way, the first thing is under the hood you have Google. Okay, this is just a good point to start to learn
discussion
to start to learn Angular. The second one is the improvement that the team has shipped in the last version. Okay, and the last one is they haven't broke nothing. Okay, in the last 18 but 70, because from AngularJS to Angular v2 they broke everything, but from there they haven't broke anything from a major version to another. So if you need something stable for your business and maintain, it's one of the best in this moment for the front-end environment, in my opinion. And the second one, the last one is Angular is used also by Google in their project. So they need to keep it up to date because they have business that depend on that project. So if they have business, you have a framework with a great company under the hood that maintain it, and in the last period also start to listen to the community. And that's it. The second one, if you are a Java developer and you love the syntax, or also C# developer and you want to move, it's easier for you.
That's my journey.
But now maybe with the input function and stuff like this could be a bit tricky, but at the end, the key point under the hood are the same that you find in a Java or a C# application. Yes, you are in the browser, not in the server, so you have to know this. But also, you have all the documentation that can help you. And the real problem is, in this moment, is to find the correct documentation in the blog post, in my opinion, because in the last year we moved from modules to standalone component. We remove. We have the provider. We have now we move to the signal, and we try to avoid RxJS. So if you are a newbie in the framework, decide which is the right one in this moment could be difficult. But if you have a good developer, a good senior developer aside of you, this is just a sort of question, and he can help you without any problem, I think.
So hopefully you are able to convince someone already to start his journey with Angular, or just start brand new project within Angular. So thank you, Luca, for this discussion.
Thank you too.
Hopefully you will enjoy the time in our office, on our meetup, you will be able to meet our community, see how we are just love Angular in Warsaw. And
you are a kind community, and the food is fantastic, and the hotel.
And marketing team is also, we
yes.
love them, yeah. So, okay, so thank you.
Thank you to you.